Silver will take care of 656 pathogens. Don't take my word for it. Go into the Google and put in therapeutic values of silver. When you have 3rd degree burns, what do they give you? Colloidal silver to reform your skin. So, we have to understand why these things happen. When you are having the old bartans with the kalai in it, why? Because you require zinc, and you have zinc tablets. When these people are telling you carbon credits, etc., I've forgotten to carry this medicine. I normally carry it with me when I have it in the stomach. They give me 400, the doctors give me 400 milligrams of activated charcoal. And Al Gore keh carbon credits. What is the carbon content in the atmosphere? 0.036 parts per million. And you're going after the carbon credits. It's not the carbon. Now, this is the only water filter that even removes arsenic from water. So, goodness and like, you don't have to worry about that. Put all the arsenic you want. Give people a filter like that. So, we took putrid water. It's non-potable. We made it potable. The largest amount of arsenic your body can tolerate is 200 parts per, 50 parts per billion. We spiked it to 200 parts per billion and got 20 parts per billion. We can remove arsenic through silver. That's the Grand Water Prize. And when I made this presentation in Istanbul, there was this Dutch guy making several million dollars worth of arsenic removal stuff. So when I made this presentation, I said it cost 4,000 rupees. The guy almost cried. This is what we're taking up now with the government, as far as promoting it, is grain silos. Do you know the wheat you eat? The High Court standard allows 4% of mouse shit in the grain you eat. It's allowed. It was 11%. The High Court did a great job, brought it down to 4%. 16% of the grain is wasted. It's been coming on NDTV recently. So we designed these grain silos, which are geodesics. We made them so simple that they cost less than even the drums they're storing it in. So I said, if you give the villager these grain storage systems, which you've taken up with Rahul Gandhi and the Prime Minister also, that if you give them grain storage, then instead of selling to the mandi when the price is the lowest, he will retain it. And he will sell it when the price is high. So then you don't require the Babu at the village, you don't require the JNURM or the Nehru Road Employment Guarantee Scheme. The man will get the money, he will build his own schools, he will get the money. But you take it away from him and then give it back to him at 2 rupees a kilo, which is all the putrid grain. So I'm not going to dwell on this long because it's a very long thing. But if you store at the top there, take it out the bottom there. Provided you can make the grain silo economical. So what we intend doing is just giving them the steel structure and lining with brickwork on the outside, on the inside, and from the top on the outside, and you will get a grain silo system varying from 100 tons to 1100 tons. We designed these for Sudan, for the economy of Sudan. We didn't get around to doing it. The building industry accounts for this thing, and the creation of it. This is what I believe we should be doing. Many people have asked me, what is architecture? So architecture, as far as I'm concerned, is the integration of the architect, the engineer, the artist, and the artisan. You can't just make a drawing unless you understand the engineering. You can't do the engineering unless you integrate art. Rarely did you do a building and then after put an MS of saying for 2 crores. Why can't you do it in the building? But you have to understand how the mason is going to do it. So the integration of the architect, the engineer, artist, and the artisan is what we try and do. So we designed interlocking blocks like this, which were listed as the best 6 products in the world, where we integrate the artwork with it. These blocks have been listed as the 6 best products in the world in the year 2002. They are the only structures that have withstood the earthquake in Gujarat. All IIT, SERC structures, etc. have cracked up. We've done these, and you can. It's a very simple system. If you do diagonal modeling, then you get an earthquake from here. This becomes a buttress. When you get black bottom soil, this swells up, transfers the load there. When there's differential settlement, it comes here. I was invited by Pope John Paul in the year 2000 to give 3 lectures in Naples for the biggest sustainable development conference in the world. And I went on Pompeii, and I found that in Pompeii, the walls had not come down 2,700 years ago. So I should stop. Terrible. Okay? This is going to loop. I thought you were giving up. So, so I saw this in Pompey. So I said, if they can do it in Pompey, why can't I do it? So I developed an interlocking bond, the interlocking block which bonds in both directions. And we got some of the best earthquake resistant structures. You can see it being done there. Then we train women into it. We increase the salary of women from 80 rupees to 150 rupees, because I believe if you increase the salary of women from 80 to 150 rupees, you don't require health programs, because a woman will save it in a potli, she will dig it underground, she will save the 70 rupees for only two things: the health and the education of the child. The man will pick it up, but the woman will save it. We did a house, that house I showed you in Chandigarh was done on that basis. My client had to increase the salary from 80 to 150 rupees a day. The women were happy and she still saved a lot. So that's the design sense award. We use funicular shells. You can use flat funicular shells. You don't have to use curved funicular shells. If you place the bricks backwards, then you get a flat arch rotated around the center. We don't use steel in those. By desalination plants, tell me, right next to the fort in Bombay, etc., you have sweet water wells. Go to Goa, you have a village with a sweet water well. How do they get sweet water right next to it, and we're trying to develop desalination plants? Because there is limestone there. So if water comes through limestone, it will desalinate itself. So the obvious thing is that you dispose of sewage behind the limestone bed. The water that will go into the sea will be clean. It's just logic. So we question that also. Now, but this is what we are trying to do. You know, first we had ozone depletion, then we had climate change, then carbon credits, then carbon footprint. Now what we are doing is, we are saying that there is a weather pattern shift. There is no climate change. The pattern has changed. The pattern of the winds has changed, which I'll come to just now. I don't know how many of you seen this movie called The Inconvenient Truth? I don't know. Have you seen it? Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore? Okay. Go and see the other one. It's called The Great Global Warming Swindle. The people who left Al Gore, they came up with a film called The Great Global Warming Swindle. How all these guys are making a monkey out of it. And everybody started studying carbon credit. There's a lot of money in it. So what we are doing very shortly is we are making a film called The Convenient Lie. Now my logic is that the silt, because of your stormwater drain, is being transferred from land to the sea. And if I show you the silting, this is what India was about. This is what India towns are now depositing the silt there. If you take it together, that is the silting happening in the Bay of Bengal. If you take it, these are the silting areas. Where the silting area is happening here, this is where the turbulence in the Gulf of Mexico is taking place, where all the winds are changing here. The winds are changing in the Bay of Bengal. You've got these major zones where the tidal currents, you know, when the currents turn, in the next slide you'll see, when the trade winds change direction at 90 degrees, these are this is 1943, this used to be your wind maps. They change considerably. And when your winds change, then your problems. So now this has become the hot zone, and the winds are beginning to change here. So you're getting a weather change. You're not getting a climate change. The weather pattern is shifting because the winds are shifting. These are now your weather systems. Nothing to do with the climate. The globe is not getting any warmer. So we can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. I never said so, Einstein said so. He had 5,000 failures. He had one success. He became Einstein. Cities like dreams are built of desires and fears, even at the thread of their discourse. There is secret, their rules are absurd, their perspective is deceitful, and everything conceals something else. There's always a hidden agenda why we do things. You've got to get to the bottom of that. Why is the other man doing that? And once you can uncover that, you can come up with a solution to a whole lot of things. I am going to go through this. This is how we do A-frame. This I'm going to run through. Cube on vertex is one of the most efficient structures, provided you can make it. This is what we did in Gujarat. These are laminated beams that were done 21 years ago in that project I showed you. These are the 3 mm wires. I could not talk about it earlier for the simple reason that I would be arrested for fraud. But for 10 years it has gone through without any problems. Then even the vigilance can't get me. So I can tell you how these are done. This is how reinforcement is done, this is how it should be done, that's how the crack occurs, that's how the spider web builds, and this is how laminated beams work. You take 4 inches of thermocol, you stand on it, it'll break, take 8 half-inch layers of thermocol, and the elephant will stand on it, it won't break. And that is what our sedimentary stone was about. That is why we have the large span sedimentary stone, and they used to have 2 kinds of stone, the male stone and the female stone. The male stone was used for building, and the female stone was used for sculpting. How did they do that? Why didn't they require RCC with those structures? The space train were built with, 1979, when we didn't have the ball joint, with the help of just 4 derricks and 2 4 inches and 2 derricks. Existing now, so I designed the joint. At that time, we couldn't get board. We had designed the joint where you can take 96 members through the same axis as the ball joint. This is a tensile structure done in Noida. It still stands. It was done as a unit which could then complete the whole stadium using space train. This is what we did recently. I got sacked twice with it. But that is the most interesting thing over there is the space train. This is 110 meters across. And we have 4 octajet rules. What Buckminster Fuller did was an icosahedron. This is diagonally and staggered place. And the reason I want to show you this is this is the only structure that uses urine water harvesting. Urine harvesting. And the PWD was very happy कि और pipe लगा रहे हैं. All peripheries have from all the urinals, 4 feet underground we planted pipes. So the urinal water goes there. That's 4 to 5 grams of urea being passed out there. If everybody began to use the urea to advantage and you did you pee in front. So if there was a pipe separately, and if you could grab that urea and use urine harvesting, then you would put Mukesh Ambani out of business, because with 1 billion people at 5 grams a day, Mukesh Ambani can't make that much of urea. So we did it, and the plants over there were very green, but the most important thing are the domes we built there. You can see these are 18-meter cantilevers, and I'm going to show you can see the 18-meter cantilevers there. But you can see this dome being fabricated on the ground and being lifted through these plates, just these plates. And these are larger than the Parliament House Library. The joint we use is this. It weighs 4 kilos, costs 400 rupees. And the CPWD says it's the same chief engineer, same superintending engineer who built this project, that built the Parliament House Library. And they said it can't be built, but this is what is used at the Parliament House Library. Each joint costs 22,500 rupees. कहते वहाँ 22,500 रुपये लगा, ऐसे 400 रुपये में कैसे बनाया? उन्होंने कहा बाहर निकालो. And they said to Shanta Kumar, Anna University, he tested it, 12 times the design load. Then they had to build it. They were given a national award and I was given a national award. They didn't deserve it because they sacked me, but they got it. CPWD guru है, which I'll come to this now. CPWD के बिना तो कुछ नहीं चल सकता आपका. ये देश ही नहीं चलेगा CPWD के बिना. These are the 70-meter span structures we're doing now with the whole system. This is done in factory, done in Mukteshwar, not Mukteshwar, but in the Manesar. Right, it's called the state landscape. This, way back in 1987, we built 15,000 square meters in 45 days. That's what it is like. It was built for 2 years. It stays. Now it's seen by the Supreme Court. This is what you can do if you play around with the domes, the way we've done them. You can play with structures as beautiful as that. This is what you can be doing. Now this is the romantic side. One of the main reasons for environmental problems today is that validation of technology is subservient to business first, and then to other things, like the needs of society or its environment. If you cannot abate this process, should we abate it? You know, if you can't prevent it, should we become a party to it and just join carbon credit because it's fashionable? Can't we think again? Can't we carry on? Will we carry on making the same mess? So, when I was in hospital for 6 months, I compiled these books. They're not published. They're on my website. You can download it. It's got 1,000 MB of information on it. You can download it yourself. But I said that threads of sustainability are the best of each aspect of the sustainability is only a thread. And each thread, as fragile as the individual string, the woven fabric. This is the same thing when somebody was doing this for me, a fabric. And this is the other side, and the fabric was woven together. Sustainability is best achieved in weaving these threads together, by integrating them into the fabric as a weaver with understanding, care, and respect for all the elements that went into making. Now, that finishes off. Any questions? I invite you. As they say, my last statement always is, which is missing, I don't know the wrong thing, but there is a saying which says, man proposes, God disposes. In this country, man proposes, CPW disposes, and that's your problem. And then I had to tell the Secretary, Ministry of Urban Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, she gave a 1-hour lecture, talk nonsense. The India Habitat Center. I asked her, Mike, I said, man, Mr. Dega, you talked 1 hour, you just talk nonsense. Nobody understood a word of what you said. And you yourself admitted you don't know your figures. So I said that behind every successful man there's a woman. And I said, my theory is, behind every failed scheme there is a bureaucrat. They threw me, and they threw me out of the seminar. Right? That is why the monkey.